You're hanging out with Gloria in the MOSHPIT, and I've got Matt, guitarist from UK band While She Sleeps, on the line. These guys are getting ready to release their new album Brainwashed in Australia next month. So how you going, Matt?
I'm good. I'm stoked to be on the line and talking to us. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. What are you guys up to at the moment? Or what are you up to at the moment?
We're just preparing to go on tour. Our record actually came out yesterday here in the UK, so we did like a signing yesterday, and like we did this acoustic show. We're off back down to London today to do another signing, and just that kind of release week madness where you're flying around and doing loads of stuff to push the record. So it's loads of fun, lots of stuff going on, and yeah, we go on tour in a week, so we're practicing as well. So it's a nice, exciting time over here.
Of course, yeah, it sounds awesome for you guys. I mean, as you did say, the album comes out April 3rd in Australia, but it's been released all around the world throughout the week. So how was the initial reception been? I mean, you guys had the album streaming up on your website for a while as well before that.
Yeah, we did like a week stream on the site, and yeah, the reaction's been amazing. Like, it's always just sort of touching to kind of get a response like this for an album, and luckily enough we had a good response on our last album, but this one seems to have been even better. We're number one in the iTunes rock charts at the moment over here, and like in sort of top 20 of the general charts on iTunes as well, which is cool. So yeah, it's awesome. I'm just happy that something that we've worked so hard on and for such a long time and sort of put our kind of like blood, sweat and tears into over the last couple of years actually like transcribes nicely to other people, and that they can understand and enjoy the songs as much as we enjoyed making them and enjoy playing them. So it's sort of a nice relief releasing a record and giving it to the people and letting them decide rather than just me listening to it in my bedroom unsure if it's the best thing or the worst thing I've ever done.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on that kind of reception. What was the lead up to the release like for you guys? I mean, you've spoken about everything you're doing in the week since releasing it, but you've kind of had a bit of a tumultuous time getting the album out. So what was that, just that last maybe like few weeks before putting the album out when you knew that the clock was finally ticking and people were going to hear it?
Yeah, it's quite surreal, really. Like, always this whole like musician to listeners connection is quite weird, because the listeners are like almost like a year behind the band, if you know what I mean. Like, I've had these songs with me for a year and no one else has heard them, so it's almost quite surreal actually getting to the point and being like, we're just gonna release this and it's gonna be everywhere. It's not gonna be this little private piece of music that I have anymore. I like that. Like, I don't want it to be a private piece of music. It just takes so long to like get a record out properly. And we've had like the last sort of year and the last year and a half have been a big sort of learning curve for us as a band. We've had problems with, like, our singer had throat surgery, which is a really big deal, and we had to overcome that. That was a huge part of recording this record. So to kind of get to the end of all those things and be like coming out the other end of the tunnel is just it's a great feeling, and I'm just, for the record to be well received is just a really nice relief, and we're just feeling great about things at the moment.
It has been 3 years since you released your debut album. This is the 6th. So how different was it making an album for the second time? I mean, especially with everything going on in the band. You did just touch on Loz's throat surgery.
It's weird. Like, everyone always asks this question. The second record is always a really tough thing. Your first record is something that we'd been writing for a while, and you write sort of a little bit more carefreely on your first record because you don't have anything necessarily to... Obviously, we'd done like a mini album before that, but you kind of like, you have to top the thing you did before. That's almost the rule, or subconsciously is always the thing in your head, like, how are you going to do better than what you did before? And for this one, we just really tried to stop thinking about those things and just try and write a record that we really liked. That was like, we tried to make a record for ourselves that was a great reflection of where we all are at musically, and just instead of writing something and being like, this isn't enough, like, While She Sleeps, we can't put this on the record, we were like, if you like it, it goes on the record, regardless to sort of what it sounds like. This is supposed to be an honest representation of us as musicians and us as people. So it was a weird record to write, and with the whole thing with Loz and us having to take a big amount of time out, we got a big opportunity to sort of work harder on the record and really dig our teeth into it and kind of just go through everything really just detailed and make sure it was everything we wanted it to be. And I'm really happy that we got to do that. That's one of those things, is with every bad situation, there's always a good one. Like, and this was the thing that with us on this record. Lars had a problem, but with that came this opportunity to actually put our heart and soul into this record, and I'm glad it happened. Now, there's everything happens for a reason, and even if it's a bad thing, there will always be a positive from it too.
That's awesome. I mean, it is one of those things where you could just kind of throw your hands up in the air and be like, what is going on? This is so bad. But it's great that you guys turned it around and kind of saw the positive in having that extra time to work on the record. And you went into the studio with Cal Bone again, who produced your previous record as well. Was it an easy decision just to go back in the studio with him again?
Carl's a really good friend of ours, and when we did the first record with him, he really got involved with the band, and he really just came to understand what we're about as people and musicians, what we're trying to do, what we're trying to sound like. So for this record, we were like, it was almost a no-brainer, really. We were like, we want to do it with Carl. We want to change some of the sound of it. We want to make it sound a little bit different to the last record. But why waste this amazing connection and relationship we've built with him? Why waste that again on another record to have to build all those connections with someone else who might not understand us or might not be on the same page as we are, when Carl is so gelled with us, and he doesn't push any musical thing down on us. He'll always just, if we think something is the right thing to do, he will always stand behind us on it and not disagree. Because he knows that it's our record, and although he's there and he's making it, it's quite difficult with producers. There's a quote that says the producer's job is to get the artist's music from them as people onto the track without harming it. That's the producer's job, is to get the music from them onto the record without messing it up in any way. And I think people get confused and think a producer's there to pull your songs apart and to change who the band is, and why would you want to do that? Do you know what I mean? It's supposed to be a representation of the band and not of someone else. That's why the band is what it is. So Carl really gets that, and we just love working with him, so kind of a no-brainer.
And you guys have already released 4 singles from the record. You've had videos with them. The most recent one, Our Legacy, it comes with a really great video. I was watching the video and kind of smiling, and that must have been a blast from the past for you guys, kind of getting into your video archives and seeing all that past footage.
Yeah, it was because, we sort of had a big conversation about the video, and we're like, what do we do with it? And it's always this annoying question of like, we've done so many videos that are just performance all the way through, and that's like the obvious thing to do is like, well, what do? Well, we play songs on our guitars, so let's film it. And then, but this one we were like, after we sort of we'd finished the song and listened to it back a lot of times, we were like, once everyone got their sort of teeth into the lyrics, the song is about our legacy. It's about how many years we've spent doing this one thing and having this intention that's sort of never changed in like the past 15 years of my life, of just constantly just attacking this profession and just trying, and if something gets in your way, then overcoming it and carrying on. So we were like, well, let's just do the video and see how far back we can go, and just actually look how far we've been doing the same thing. And we've been friends for so long, so it was really fun. We all had like, everyone dug out like as many old photos and all our old computers, and we were sat right in my kitchen at my house with my brother who made the video, and just watching all this footage and watching ourselves age over the last 10 years, which is a really weird thing. And to see us be doing the same thing 10 years ago, and the only thing that's changed is the hair on our faces and how old we look and how haggard we are is pretty weird. So yeah, it was a total blast down memory lane. It was really fun. Everyone who watches the video kind of gets that nice like sensation that, well, hopefully that we're not putting on any kind of front. We're trying to just be ourselves, and hopefully the video sort of shows that.
It is a great video. We'll talk about the album title now. So Brainwashed is what the record's called, but what is the message While She Sleeps is trying to get out with this record?
Basically, first of all, really, we're not trying to say that everyone else is brainwashed and we're not. The record is called that because we're trying to make people more conscious to the fact that unless you have your head on your shoulders and you make decisions for yourself, then there is so much like advertising and media and marketing flying at you at all times, telling you what to listen to and what to look like, what to be interested in, what the latest trend is. if you don't make a decision for yourself, then someone else will make them for you, and you'll be another sheep in the pack. Do you know what I mean? And there's nothing necessarily wrong with doing that until you're actually not doing the things that you care about, or you think that the things that you care about aren't achievable because someone has essentially brainwashed you with what's right and what's wrong. And all we're trying to do is encourage people to be more conscious to it and just think for themselves. And is this career what I want to do for the rest of my life? Is this music what the best thing I want to listen to? Does this make me happiest? Like, just trying to encourage people to do things for themselves and not to please necessarily others, but to just make themselves happy. Like, don't look to anything else for answers. You have everything inside of you, and you are capable of absolutely anything in the whole world. You shouldn't ever let anyone tell you otherwise. And we're just trying to encourage that, really, and just remind everyone that it's so easy to be brainwashed. And you can't avoid it because this is the world we live in, and you'd have to go into the middle of the woods and smash your mobile phone and live in a field, really, if you wanted to avoid it completely, and then you wouldn't be able to do very much at all. You probably wouldn't survive. So we're just trying to encourage people to just keep their head on their shoulders and do what makes them happy, and don't let someone tell you what you can and can't do, because it's you who should decide that.
Awesome. Oh, that's a nice summary. I like that. So you guys have already announced some pretty big UK festival spots and headlining tours for the year, but will we see any Australian dates popping up anytime soon?
We hope so. We're absolutely dying to get back over to Australia. We've been over twice, and such a cool place to tour, and we are actually itching to get over that side of the world again. So we're sort of hoping on the end part of this year or the beginning of next year, definitely. Keeping our fingers crossed for Soundwave. Hopefully we'll see how it pans out, but don't give up faith on us. We will be back as soon as we possibly can.
We'll keep our ears out for some tour dates. But you guys, I mean, you've got the co-headline tour with Cancer Bats. You're playing some pretty huge festivals around the UK. I mean, you got Reading and Leeds is one of them, playing Slam Dunk as well. So, but what else is planned for the year for you guys? It's going to be a big one.
Yeah, we're just planning to tour as much as we can. Like, we're doing Warped Tour for the whole summer in America, which should be really cool. That's like, we did it in 2013, and it's an amazing tour to go on. Lots of really cool bands. So yeah, to spend the summer in America again is very exciting. We got some big UK Europe stuff planned for sort of after Warped Tour, and then this tour now with Cancer Bats in UK Europe. And the idea is that, like, we've spent so long working on the record and getting everything ready. Now it's time to actually board the ship and start the journey and get out there and just sort of take it to as many places as we possibly can and play it to as many people as we possibly can. So yeah, anything that we get the opportunity to do, we'll probably take.
Well, thanks for having a chat, and good luck with everything that's happening this year. I mean, as you said throughout the interview, there is a lot going on. Brainwashed does drop in Australia on Tuesday, April 3rd. Thanks for having a chat with us, Matt.
Thanks for